Tonight on News 5 Live, major crimes down in 2021 with one exception. Human remains found in Belize City, and find out who has been named Band of the Year. Details of these stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank contactless MasterCard debit card. Introducing our standard debit and MasterCard Platinum debit cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Video on demand. Coming soon.
It's a brand new year and you have a chance to win over $500,000. Make all your wishes come true in 2022. The Mega Bingo Progressive Jackpot is now at $617,665 and you can get your hands on it all. You can win with one $2 Mega Bingo ticket. Get yours at any Mega Bingo outlet countrywide and tune into the live show airing this Saturday, January 8th on Channel 5, Radio Bahia and Love FM. Or you can tune in live on Facebook or on YouTube. Just search for Belize Mega Bingo and play the game live. The game starts at 8 p.m. Don't miss your chance. You can be the next jackpot winner. Remember, Mega Bingo is the game.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, January 7th. I am Sabrina Daly. In an exclusive interview with Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, we asked for his crime review of 2021. As was reported earlier this week, there were 125 murders recorded last year. That's 23 more than the 2020 records, with the months of May and June recording the most murders. But Compal Williams says that despite the increase in murders, 2021 saw an overall decrease in major crimes.
Overall, major crimes for 2021 is lower than major crime for 2020, except in the murder category where we saw an increase, where in 2020 we had 102 and in 2021 we had 125. So there's an increase of 23 murders when compared both years. And like you rightly said, 2021 was an extremely challenging year for us. We had the issue of the gang explosion in the month of May and June that saw a number of murders in those two particular months due to gang retaliations and other factors. We also had a number, what we would call unconventional types of murders emanating from domestic violence, where we had a number of double murders in the Kyle district in particular. Those are things that the police could never prevent due to the domestic nature of them. And in Belize City, we also had the one with the police officer and the daughter who were killed by the boyfriend and then eventually killed himself. So we had a number of unfortunate situations in 2021. Nonetheless, I still believe that the year was a good year for us, considering the challenges that we had and the fact that we lack human resources and other resources to be able to function properly.
Is 2022 off to a bad start already? There were 3 murders in the first 5 days of the year. The double murder of Raymond Dominguez and Justin Milligan on January 3rd, followed by the murder of Dangriga teen Joshua Flores on January 5th. Compal Chester Williams says that Cayo and Stan Creek districts were responsible for the increase in murders in 2021, and he is going to ensure that that changes this year.
For 2022, we are going to ensure we do our best to make this year a better year than last year.
You think it's the year start off bad already?
I'm not going to say that because while yes, we had the double murder in San Hill, again, it is difficult for police to prevent that due to the isolated nature of where it occurred. And then the one we have now in Dangriga, which is unfortunate. I wish it had not occurred. But the fact that I am here along with my command team addressing it, and like I said, tough decisions are going to be made, I believe that we're going to get a grip of Dangriga. Let me say that the Cayo district and the Stan Creek district are responsible for the increase in murders for last year. And I am going to ensure that there's no repetition of that this year. The Stan Creek district and the Cayo district must perform better this year. In the Belnapan area, murder increased by over 500% when compared to 2020. And so it cannot be something that we can allow to happen this year. So there's a lot that needs to be done.
On Thursday morning, Coast Guard Special Operations launched a raid on Tobacco Key. It resulted in the detention of 1 person after the officers discovered a military-grade rifle and 30 live rounds of 5.56 6mm military-grade caliber. The commando version of the M4 carbine rifle was found inside a room occupied by Robert Bradley, who has since been handed over to the police for prosecution. The Special Operations Unit of the Belize Coast Guard is designed to mirror police land-based efforts in Dangriga, which has seen a recent spike in crime. According to police, Bradley had no gun license approval and remains detained, pending charges. On Thursday afternoon, police responded to an area behind Port of Belize Limited, where they discovered a human skeleton. It was found about 150 feet from the seaside, along with a black beach cruiser, bicycle, and a white bucket. The gruesome find was made by a fisherman around 3 p.m., who made the call to the authorities. The remains were transported to the medical lab where it awaits an examination. On Thursday, the Belize Electricity Limited responded to allegations that the Public Utilities Commission made against them the day before when it accused them of making bad decisions that will begin to cost consumers higher electricity rates effective this month. The PUC pointed to an instance when BEL dispatched water from the Chalilo Dam when it ought not to, which resulted in them having to purchase power at higher rates from other suppliers. That led to BEL's need for an adjustment for the higher rates. In her response to the PUC's accusation on that, BEL's General Manager of Employee and Corporate Services, Don Nunez, explained that if the utility company had dispatched power in the manner that the PUC was suggesting, it would have resulted in saving of $1.5 million in one instance. But the company would have incurred about $2.3 million in spill charges. But today, the PUC, the evidence, does not support BEL's claim and pointed to a specific week in August when the dam went from 19% to 73% full. It stated that thereafter, BEL continued to run BECOL full scale for 30 days. The PUC maintains that a simple 10-day rain forecast from the National Met Service could have guided the dispatch more prudently, and that the daily prices being offered from our Mexican supplier, CFE, were comparatively lower. The regulatory body also accused the energy provider of flouting the law and ignoring their requests for supplementary documents, supporting its justification for increased rates. To this, BEL officials responded by saying that they did respond comprehensively in writing and provided them with all the information. But today, the PUC said that some of the information they were waiting on, the daily forecasting from November 2021 to June 2022, itemized by sources with costing, is still pending. And to BEL's allegation that the PUC never responded to its request to point to the evidence that supported its stance, they didn't. But the PUC said that it furnished the company with hour-by-hour dispatch for the period in question to support its position. Lastly, the BEL's claim that the PUC accepted their submission for the month of September, which it is now accusing them of spending unnecessarily higher prices for, the PUC today said that it hasn't accepted the extra expense, but rather has made provisions in the tariff for BEL to recover these extra costs. Coming up, the UDP says GOB has failed to take Omicron into account with reopening of schools. Details when we return.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." David Livingstone went to darkest Africa as a lone missionary. After some time, his missions committee wrote to him saying, "Some people would like to join you. What's the easiest road to get to where you are?" He replied, "If they're looking for the easiest road, tell them to stay in England. I want people who will come even if there's no road at all." To seek first the kingdom of God and follow Jesus Christ is not always easy, but the benefits are out of this world. Those early followers of Jesus paid dearly to follow Him. Philip and Jude were crucified. Peter was crucified upside down. Bartholomew was skinned alive and beheaded, as was James. Matthew was stabbed to death. Thomas was speared to death, and Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross. These sacrificed their lives in exchange for eternity so that the church could be alive today. When a friend once wrote to Dr. Livingstone about the sacrifices he was making in spending his days among the natives of Central Africa, he made the spirited reply, "Is that a sacrifice which brings its own best reward in healthful activity, in the consciousness of doing good, in peace of mind, and in the hope of a glorious destiny hereafter? Away with such a thought. I never made a sacrifice." May we too seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness rather than our own selfish satisfaction, even if it's not an easy road. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Digi, the premier name in voice and data, is also the country's leading provider of innovative services and solutions for small business and enterprise. At Digi Business, we offer solutions, tools, and applications to support your business needs. Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and excel in a changing world where no idea is too big and no task is too small. From technology advising to design implementation and management, our team of qualified solution sales and specialists can develop a reliable and robust infrastructure, allowing you to spend more time on what matters most, your business. Visit us online to explore how DigiBusiness innovative products and solutions can help your business reduce costs and improve efficiency.
I visited the land of Serbia, a great many miles away. I ascended the Mount Everest few people have conquered. I roared on the snow-covered Antarctic and Arctic. I rolled swiftly across the vast, untamed desert. Linglong Tire conquers every corner of the world.
Distributed by Enrique Martinez and Sons Limited, 2 miles Philip Golston Highway, Belize City.
The BWS app is here and is available for download from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. BWS customers can use the app to view water usage and current bill, read your own meter, apply for new residential and commercial connections, apply for reconnection, make reports, contact BWS customer service, and much more. Download the BWS app today.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
The United Democratic Party has issued a press release charging that the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science, and Technology has, quote, failed to support teachers and students during the pandemic, and likewise failed to adequately plan a safe reopening with a realistic timeline, unquote. The party says the ministry has been indecisive with 3 changes in the date for reopening schools over the last 4 months. Schools are scheduled to reopen on January 10th to hybrid learning, and despite hundreds of schools having applied, the UDP says enough time has not been given for schools to adequately prepare and qualify for a safe reopening this month. The UDP says the ministry's plan seems to be rushed. They also note that the Omicron variant has education officials in many other countries revisiting their guidance and protocols to schools, but that MOE's guidelines were developed pre-Omicron. The release ends with an extensive list of things MOE should do. These include vaccination procurements and rollout for students 5 to 11 years old, continued vaccination campaign for students 12 years and older, providing all schools, especially government schools, with wash hand basins, thermometers, social distancing markers, and disposable masks. They also want regular cleaning and hygiene kits or a financial grant to purchase such materials for the duration of the pandemic. Improved classroom ventilation by upgrading an antiquated classroom design, and regular free testing for all teachers and auxiliary staff. The conversation surrounding the reopening of schools continues across the country. The National Commission for Families and Children says one of their main concerns is the effect of protracted school closures on children's social skills. NCFC has found that Zoom classes and paper-based work over an extended period of time takes away from the kind of social interaction children need for their development. Farnisha Augustin, the executive director at NCFC, was a guest on Open Your Eyes.
When we look at some of the impacts that COVID has had on our children, we zoned it down into 4 categories basically. We know it has affected their social interaction skills, educationally, it has affected them when it comes to their health and even child safety. Now, I am also a teacher by profession, recently left the classroom. So I have personal experience with the children. Now, when we look at the social interaction, I find that, or we find that it is necessary for students to be able to socialize, however, be or using the Zoom platform and even using the paper-based platform, students are not able to socialize the way they should. And some may argue and say that being able to socialize is not necessary. They would say education more or trumps the socialization skills. However, we need to keep in mind that when students socialize, it helps them to manage their personal feelings. It allows them to understand their needs and the needs of others.
Augustine says socializing also helps a child to learn how to interact with respectable behaviors. Eli Romero, Monitoring and Evaluation Officer at NCFC, spoke on the importance of preparing children for the reopening of school. Romero also addressed the need for shared monitoring to ensure schools are doing their best to prepare a safe space for those children returning.
Are we exposing unnecessarily our children by not proper planning for the reopening of schools? Is that an issue? Then the other thing is, if we're going to be putting measures for us to ensure that children are safe, are we monitoring that those measures are actually being implemented? So that is also very key, because if we put all these measures and then nobody's following it, and then children are going back, remember, children might not be heavily impacted by the pandemic, by COVID, as it relates to being, because many of them are asymptomatic, but they might be carriers. And it's not for us to blame our children afterwards if it has a detrimental effect on our economy later on, because then we didn't plan properly. But I think we need to look at it in the way of how can we open the schools, but in taking all the different aspects into consideration. Because we're talking about having half days and so forth. It is a combined effort. We can't say it is the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Health or the sole responsibility of education or the government per se. It's all of our responsibility. Community-based, parents, the civil society, private society, all of us need to play a role, because I think all of us do understand that having our children out of school is having an impact.
NCFC says the conversation surrounding the school reopening rarely takes into consideration the views and perspective of the children themselves. Romero asserts that they may be facing a challenging time at the thought of readjusting after being away from the classroom for 2 years. Romero recommends that parents have this conversation with their children.
Some children, if you talk to them, they don't want to go back to school because they've started to earn an income. And then, once you start to earn an income, you say, oh, I like to have my money. And I think that is where we need to also take the conversation. How much have we sat down and spoken to the children? What are the children saying? How did they want to go back to school? What are their takes? And I think we need to really sit down and think about, we talk about the children's rights and all of these things, and following the Convention of the Rights of the Child. Article 12 under the Convention of the Rights of the Child really says children have a right to be listened to and taken seriously. And if we take them seriously, I think we will better understand their take and how they feel about it.
After the break, a new U.S. humanitarian operation for Belize. Details coming up. But first, here is a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
offers the best mobile experience in Belize? You don't know? Well, the truth is, Digi, our national telecom, of course. Digi has the largest mobile LTE advanced network with over 96% countrywide coverage, offering the fastest mobile LTE data speeds at the most affordable rates with mobile plans that fit your lifestyle. The truth is, only Digi gives the ultimate mobile LTE experience. Visit your nearest Digi store to join the bigger, better network today. Digi, our national telecom. Visit us online at www.livedigi.com.
You inch your way to the edge of the board. Once you leap, there's no turning back. Your heart begins to race. You need to make a decision. Are you in or out? Join us for our brand new series where we dive deep into what it looks like to make God our Lord of all or not at all. God doesn't want just the dip of our toes or a wade in the shallows. He wants all of us. We're in or out.
A royal group of companies, of which Malisco is a part, believes in paying its fair share of taxes to support the economy and the government of Belize, which shows that we are good corporate citizens. It also makes good business sense because it saves us time and money. Our messenger is extremely happy as well because previously he had to stand in long lines that extended as far as the tax department gate, and now with this online filing, he no longer has to do that. Our employees are so happy to register individually, and at the end of the year they can check and see what they have paid, and then when it's time to file they can actually compare it with the tax department and get a fast response from the tax department. By us signing up and our individuals also signing up, it shows that we are good corporate citizens and we're doing the right thing for Belize.
Iris Belize, effortless, easy and efficient electronic tax services for everyone.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
Social media influencers, much like their viewers, are always out for the next viral upload. But can a widely circulated video help a destitute Belize City family to escape poverty? It's the latest effort of community activist Moses Solf, who aims to assist Luciano Reyes and his family. This morning, Reyes and Solf spoke with News 5.
The plight of the less fortunate is an issue that is often overlooked by many in our society, particularly those whose life experiences do not include hunger, homelessness, and unemployment. In Gungulung, a family of 10 occupies 2 adjoining wooden structures. Upstairs is an elderly woman. She is visually impaired as a result of illness. Their living condition is squalid.
Okay, I'm calling on each and every Belizean.
in an attempt to try and eliminate this sort of condition, to kindly go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel Better Living, Belize to the World, like the video, view it and subscribe and share, and in an effort to eliminate this sort of living.
What community activist Moses Solf is seeking to do in an effort to help this family out of the indigent situation it is faced with is seizing an opportunity for a video such as this to go viral on YouTube. He is hoping that with enough views, the social media platform would cut a check that can be used to ameliorate the family's abject living conditions.
I'm asking Belizeans to please subscribe, like, view, and share, and from the proceeds we get from YouTube, we will directly build houses for people who are in these conditions and eliminate it ourselves. We're going to change the world one house at a time.
It's ambitious, to say the least, but like Solf, Luciano Reyes is optimistic that a change will come. He's looking to YouTube's viewership as a way to escape this crushing poverty.
Right now, I go through one serious situation because right now we're leaking every time when it rain, it leak. Then the window, we don't have no window because the boys material. We try it hard, right? Because my living, I do cutting, you know, the cut yard and thing. But right now, I don't really have the money right now. Cutting's tight with me right now.
This property on Holy Emmanuel Street is one of several that Solf intends to highlight on a weekly basis.
We're hoping that because of the condition we see many of our people facing over the years, we know that the finance is not there totally at the country. So we're using this avenue to try and eliminate conditions like these, especially for the blind lady that is here. I would want us to try and see how the community could come together and eliminate the bathroom and build a new bathroom. But as I said before, the effort is that I'm not going to no longer try to depend on the government or on the business sector totally. And we're not saying it is the fault of the government. We're not blaming the government here. We're not blaming anybody. We're simply saying together as a people, we can eliminate it simply by contributing our subscription, our like, our share, and also if you have any materials that you'd like to contribute towards it in the meantime in building a new bathroom.
Reyes is hoping for an act of God and, despite the odds that the video may not go viral, remains positive that something will happen to turn his situation around.
It sounds like I can try my luck, I know, believe in my luck, and like I pray and I believe, I feel something out there can help us, you know. I believe, I have faith, so I know something will happen. I just believe in it, you know. Because I see miracles and Lord show me miracles, so if I go see miracles, I go see everything.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Voter turnout during Thursday's election for a new executive of the Police Association of Belize was rather dismal. There are approximately 2,000 men and women enlisted in the Belize Police Department, but less than a third of all eligible officers actually participated in the vote. While the poor turnout is being attributed to late notice on the part of the Welfare Department, President-elect Jermaine Hyde says that the lackluster showing does not reflect a lack of confidence in the association's ability to look after the welfare of its membership.
First of all, I'd like to say thanks to the members of the association who came out and voted, and thanks for the support. During the election yesterday, 7 of the members that were on my slate were victorious. Myself, Mr. Sergeant 209 J. Hyde, Mr. Gilbert Martinez, Sergeant William Usher, Corporal Reina Mendoza, Corporal Shelleen Myers, Corporal Pedro Romero, and Mr. Mendoza, who is here with me.
Yesterday you shared that you expected that the turnout was going to be low. What are the numbers showing now?
It was low. We had about roughly 606 persons who came out and voted out of a possible 2,400. So the showing was low, but like I said, that was expected because a lot of police officers is presently infected with COVID-19, and due to the COVID-19 restrictions, some may not have wanted to come out and vote. So that did play a role in terms of the numbers. To say that they compelled mischievously announced the election late is our opinion. I won't say that. But yes, the election was announced a little bit late. But it is the welfare office that announced the election date, not the commissioner.
And the second, sir?
The second, in terms of people losing faith in the association, if you watch the numbers, 606% turnout and vote, and out of that 606 people that police officers that voted, we got about 90%. So I'm saying that out of those who turned out and voted, they are confident in the association. Like I said, there are a lot of factors that may have hindered people from coming out and vote, but at the end of the day, I believe that we still have the confidence of our members.
A humanitarian and disaster relief exercise led by the United States Southern Command is underway in Ladyville. Joint Task Force Bravo, a unit based in Soto Cano Air Base, Honduras, is engaged in routine training missions using unique airlift capabilities. Chargé d'Affaires Layla Moses emphasized, quote, "Through this JTF Bravo disaster response exercise, the United States is demonstrating its commitment to the safety and security of the Belizean people. It is a testament to our strong security ties, as well as the long-standing friendship between our two countries and our commitment to assist Belize in disaster preparation and response," unquote. U.S. Southcom will be represented by JTF Bravo Commander Colonel Stephen Venter, who will lead the military exercise. Approximately 150 U.S. service members will deploy from Soto Cano Air Base to Ladyville in support of this mission. The KTB exercise will ensure essential training for maximum crisis preparedness and enhance already strong U.S.-Belizean bilateral ties. The last prisoner escape in Belize was in October of 2020, when 28 inmates of the Belize Central Prison sought freedom. They overpowered and relieved a few prison officers of their weapons and uniforms, and then restrained them in prison cells. But since then, the Kobe Foundation, which manages the facility, has been able to upgrade the security features. CEO of Kobe, Virgilio Murillo, told News 5 that the new upgrade has resulted in 0 jailbreaks in 2021.
We managed to tighten up everything because from day one we were tight. It's just that we need to understand that whenever things like these happen, it is normally human error. And I had said at the time of the escape that when we examined the entire situation, because there was a lot of aspersions being casted that prison officers may have been bribed and all of that. But when I looked at it closely and I examined all the facts, what I came up with is that the personnel just simply did not follow procedures. You know, when you run a prison facility, there are certain standard operating procedures that must be followed. And obviously, there was a breakdown with that. Somebody got lazy or fell asleep behind the wheel, so to speak, and they didn't do what they were to do. And it revealed itself. And that was the consequence it's gained. All I can tell you is that we plan to keep the escapes down to 0 from then onwards, because that is our push right now. We're going to make the jail more secure.
The prison also recently got an adjustment on their contract last month. Murillo explained that under the previous contract, $14 was provided to feed and shelter each prisoner per day, while under the new contract, that amount has gone up to just under $19 per prisoner per day. Murillo explained that despite the fact that the facility is now home to some 600 fewer inmates than it had 8 years ago, the overhead expense have gone up, and so has the cost of living. So that balances off the food bill for the reduced population.
At the time when we went to government asking them for some consideration, we were hovering around 1,050. And by all accounts, it would seem that we're going to be below 1,000 by the end of the fiscal year this year. That is based on my historical data. What that translated to, that drop, it translated to roughly a little around $3 million less revenue for the prison. And remember, there's a fixed cost to to manage a facility of this size. And what the adjustment from government did was gave us $1.5 million more on our current budget. And that would push it around $19 per prisoner per day. That is what it averages out to thereabout. But at the end of the day, because we have reduced the population by 33%, or let's say almost 600 prisoners, it literally means that the government still end up winning, because they are saving no less than $1.5 million, even though they gave us that $1.5 million adjustment, because it's really just to meet our actual operating expenses, because we have to run the facility. When we took on the contract back in 2002, GST was at 10%. Since we are in this business, GST, they had made legislative changes to the GST alone, and that has increased by 2.5%. You do 2.5% of $1 million, and you do the maths behind that, and you see what kind of money you're looking at. There has been an increase with Social Security contributions. We know that. So inflation, by and large, cost of living, by and large, I mean in layman terms, will naturally maybe eat up that $1.5 million. Who knows? We might be going back to government and say, hey, government, we still can manage now with less prisoners. Yes, less mouth to feed, but I don't know if you have checked out butane recently. Butane prices have almost doubled. Butane prices have increased by 75 to 80% recently. That's within the last 6 months. Not to mention fuel prices, not to mention, let us look at shortening. Shortening used to cost $42 for a case. Today, shortening is $84 a case. That's 100% markup. I mean, increase. It has doubled.
Just ahead, celebrating the successes of the KHMH's COVID ward. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
Child Development Foundation, or CDF as we are popularly known, has been partnering with Social Security Board since 2015. Social Security Board supports our child protection initiatives. They support us to build capacity for teachers and parents to identify the indicators of abuse. In particular, they support our counseling center so that we can provide trauma-focused counseling therapy to children who have been abused. Social Security has also supported our prevention program, the Rise Girls program, to help us to equip young women who are in primary and secondary school to understand more about adolescent development and also to build good self-esteem and to build safe social networks.
Over the past 6 years, we have established a partnership with the Social Security Board. It has assisted us in addressing some of their social welfare needs and health care needs of our older persons, specifically in Belize City, San Ignacio, and Belmopan. We have had the opportunity to do home visits with our geriatrician and physiotherapists. We distribute meals to them. We also have that opportunity to interact with them, to observe them. There are needs that may be identified. If we can address those, we do so.
Social Security has been one of our biggest donors throughout the years, and the services that they provide to us is basically financial, and it helps with a lot of things here at the center like bills and groceries. The center is a drop-in center for the mentally ill, elderly, homeless, deportees. They come here, they take a shower, they get their breakfast, they get their lunch, and they also do recreational stuff here at the center. They can watch television, they listen to music, they play games, and they just, interact with each other, because here it's like a family.
Connecting people, creating memories.
Hey guys, so here we are at the Glaze Out Kitchen. I just prepared this amazing broccoli.
Sharing a smile. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
As the pandemic drags on, it is easy to get depressed or feel the weight of the seemingly endless stream of warnings and even sorrow. But today, the Carl Huesner Memorial Hospital provided a bright spot with a video they made celebrating those who made it out of the COVID unit and those who helped them get released. It's called Because Every Life Matters.
When you're in there and you're fighting, because you literally have to sometimes be fighting to breathe. People might want to knock KHMH, but I have to say that always with the little they have, they try to stretch it a very long way, and that's both human and the material resource. I would say I got excellent care.
I was just one machine away from going into intubation, and I must say it was very much frightening for me, because seeing people with all these tubes, there were patients with tubes down in their throat, and the way they were breathing and the sight of their eyes and so on. Somewhat after the first day, I almost went into depression.
I see them come ventilated. I see them fighting on the high flow. I see them die, I see the body bags. In fact, at one point, you hear the trolley, and I would just turn away.
I can't stop talking enough about the staff at the KHMH. They were very, very professional.
A big smile, you're behind the mask in the PPE, but you look at them and you can see the smile. Just from their eyes, they have a big smile underneath there. And they always come very positive. They hold your hand, they cry with you, and they encourage you.
When you look at the total amount of patients that we have that comes in with COVID, and the amount of people that actually recover was significant. And I don't think that the population or the general public really recognized that. And it was approximately to December 14th, to be specific, it was almost 70% recovery of patients that actually came into the hospital. And that's something to be proud of, that's something to be recognized, because we are actually recovering patients.
The video, Because Every Life Matters, is now on YouTube if you would like to see it there or share the link. With the new wave of COVID-19 infections now affecting almost every country, in Mexico, the state of Quintana Roo will institute its Code Yellow Alert system beginning January 10th. The code, which indicates people can resume limited activities, but with caution, will be in effect until January 16th. Mexico's color code system ranges from the highest, red alert, to orange, yellow, and green, with green being an almost complete return to normal life. Red alert is the almost total shutdown except for essential movement. According to the Yucatan Times, the current COVID spread in Mexico is mainly driven by the large number of people in high-density tourist areas. On January 2nd, the Mexican Secretariat of Health reported over 46,000 active cases countrywide, double what was reported on December 28. The most populous city in Quintana Roo is the resort center of Cancun. Elsewhere in Mexico, the state of Baja California Sur, where tourist destinations such as Los Cabos attracted tens of thousands of tourists, has also seen a significant jump in COVID cases. The Yucatan Times says, however, the presence of the Omicron variant in tourist areas such as Los Cabos and Cancun has not prevented the government from allowing cruise ships to dock in most Mexican ports, despite carrying passengers who were infected with the coronavirus. Belize's land border with Mexico, which was scheduled to reopen January 1st, remains closed, with no reopening date yet made public. Cruise ships that stop in Belize often include Caribbean Mexican ports in their itineraries. The Protected Areas Conservation Trust has renewed its agreement with the Belize Nature Conservation Foundation for the management of the endowment and operational funds of the BNCF. According to a release from PACT, the Belize Nature Conservation Foundation is an independently governed, private foundation created through Belize's first debt for nature swap back in 2001 between the governments of Belize and the United States. The BNCF finances a small grants program for land-protected areas. Since the start of the foundation's operation in 2007, PACT has administered an average of $3 million annually. Partnerships with various non-governmental agencies and civil society organizations allows international foundations and financing institutions to keep track of the management of funds and projects, while serving as a source of additional income for PACT in the form of service fees. The renewal of the agreement was signed in late December. Up next, the Band of the Year. Find out how Super Furia has not only adjusted to the pandemic, but also gained an even greater following. Their success when we return.
The ministry is collaborating with SpeedNet Communications to have a vaccination campaign for children ages 12 to 17 years. Children who get vaccinated will get a chance to win fabulous prizes, including backpacks with supplies, Nintendo Switch, tablets, book tuitions, and MiFi with 3 months data. Only children 12 to 17 years old can participate in this Smart and Ministry of Health and Wellness raffle. At vaccination sites, each vaccinated child, upon being vaccinated, will receive a ticket to place their name, age, date of birth, BHIS number, and contact information on, which will be filled out by a parent or legal guardian. The sooner a person vaccinates, the more chances he or she will have to win. Get vaccinated, Belize! Vaccination saves lives.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
The Super Furia Band has been in existence for decades. It is well known for its energetic and captivating live performances, both among partygoers and in family settings. However, the pandemic caused the band to reassess its approach to delivering entertainment. In 2021, Super Furia not only headlined some of the major virtual events in Belize, but they also launched their own Sunday evening live event on Facebook. So it was only fitting when Ash Belize and The Real Talk Show awarded the band with the title of Band of the Year during the 501 Music Awards 2021. News 5 spoke to Roxana Anderson, lead singer, over the phone.
My father, Francisco Alcacer, the founder and owner of the band, he is like, you know what, even us, we were depriving from that doing our music because music for us is life, it's love, and that's why we kept doing the Sunday virtuals for our fans and for us to have a little peace of mind, you know. Right. Because we need to somewhat get our energy out there, and it's so amazing how the response we got from the audience, you know. They log on every Sunday, they tune in and they let us know where they log on. We have all over countrywide and also worldwide, we have fans, you know, inboxing us that they enjoy the show and etc. So to get such an award was really overwhelming experience for us as well, no? And we would like to thank all our fans. Continue to expect our energy coming every Sunday and tune in at 5 o'clock, you know, on our Facebook page. And of course, guys, we love you guys and thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We really appreciate you guys because without you guys, we would not be the musicians we are.
Tonight, we leave you with a highlight of another Belizean talent spreading a message of positivity and peace through music. Houston Hubie Alvarez and his talented crew have released the visuals to the single Life Part 2. The song encourages the community to invest in the youth of our nation while encouraging them to live a productive lifestyle. The song became even more meaningful to Alvarez after his 15-year-old friend Joshua Flores was gunned down in Dangriga just this week. Here is Hubie as a guest on Open Your Eyes this morning.
I did not live in Harlem area, but my cousins lived there, and they were my company, so I got myself attached to that area, and we grew up together, and then it's like he was the one out of the group who was always ready to defend any one of his friends. That's the kind of person he was. But memory lives on always.
What was it like when you got the news?
It was hard, man. It was hard. Not only because he was my friend, but rather because he was so young, 15 years old.
Yeah.
That's something hard to take in. As a youth myself, it scares me to know that I can just go out there and someone can take my life so easily. So it's very rough. It's a loss for the community, a loss for the country. Belize, yours truly, Hugh B. We're living a time where change is very necessary and needed, and I urge all the youths, put down the gun. I can only say that now, but it's your task and your job. I am giving you this task. Put down the gun. Invest, learn a trade, do something with your life. Life is very short. Make the best of it. Make your parents proud, make your people proud, make yourself proud. So this is Life Part 2 featuring Mr. Cleve, respect to Mr. Cleve, produced by Junimar and shot and edited by my good friend Dennis Sutherland, The Show. Enjoy.
Yo, it's your boy Mr. Cleve from Belize. Yeah.
Another teenager is dead. The eighth minor to be killed in a relentless spate of gun violence that continues to grip the country.
Just tell me how much more youths am I go kill? Seems like our future is staring downhill. Look on the numbers of the youth at Hattieville. Jail system is failing, it's time to rebuild. Just give the youth some opportunities to excel. Instead of guns and drugs, we make them go sell. Send them to school instead of recruiting them for gangs. Then play some books instead of guns in their hands. Cause that's how if you get up, stand up. Our change believes, we get up, we stand up. Yes, cause we need peace, so make we get up, we stand up. Our change believes, we get up, we stand up.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.